Some stories are too big to die. They are whispered in dusty libraries and debated in late-night conversations. They are the legends that haunt the edges of our maps and the depths of our history. At the very top of that list is Atlantis, a name that conjures a magnificent island kingdom, a utopia of unparalleled wealth and wisdom swallowed by the sea in a single terrible day and night. The legend has captivated dreamers, explorers, and scholars for more than 2 millennia. It's a story both impossibly grand and strangely familiar, a ghost that refuses to fade from our collective memory. It's the ultimate cold case, a lost civilization that might just be waiting to be rediscovered. The tale begins with a single source: the ancient Greek philosopher Plato. He wrote about Atlantis around 360 BC, describing it not as a myth, but as a genuine historical account. He painted a picture of a concentric city, of alternating rings of land and water, ruled by kings descended from Poseidon, the god of the sea. Its people were brilliant engineers, noble warriors, and masters of a technology far beyond their time. But their perfection bred hubris. The story of Atlantis is riddled with bizarre details that make it feel like a recovered memory rather than a simple fable. Plato's descriptions are astonishingly specific. He gives precise measurements for the city's canals, walls, temples. Outer wall coated in brass, middle ring and tin inner citadel gleaming with orichalcum, a red gold metal. What was this strange element? Maybe a natural alloy of copper, maybe gold admixture, or a metal unknown to us. Its description suggests Atlantean metallurgy centuries ahead of its time. Plato claimed the war with Athens was 9,000 years before him. That places Atlantis around 9600 BC, a mind-bending date, a time deep in the Stone Age, long before the pyramids of Egypt and the cities of Mesopotamia. Mainstream archaeology says no such advanced civilization existed then. Still, the story persists. Could there be a lost mother culture? For believers, the 9000-year figure is the key. One of the most compelling and widely accepted theories transports us from the vast Atlantic to the beautiful, sun-soaked Greek island of Santorini, known in ancient times as Thera. It was once home to a flourishing outpost of the Minoan civilization. The Minoans were a real-life maritime powerhouse that dominated the Aegean Sea from roughly 2700 to 1450 BC. They were brilliant artists, they were sailors, they were engineers. Their palaces, like the one at Knossos on Crete, were sprawling labyrinths, with advanced plumbing and stunning frescoes. They were in many ways a Bronze Age utopia, and just like Atlantis, they vanished from history with shocking suddenness. Around 1600 BC, a colossal volcanic eruption occurred on Thera. It was one of the largest volcanic events in human history, an explosion so powerful it blew the center out of the island, leaving behind the crescent-shaped caldera we see today. The eruption would have triggered immense tsunamis that radiated across the Aegean, pummeling the coast of nearby Crete, the heart of the Minoan Empire. The city of Akrotiri on Thera was buried in a thick blanket of ash, perfectly preserving it like a Bronze Age Pompeii. Let's leave the ancient world behind and, fast forward to the 20th century. Our destination, the shallow, crystal-clear waters of the Bahamas. In 1968, a diver off the coast of North Bimini Island made a startling discovery. Lying just 18 feet below the surface was a bizarre underwater formation, a half-mile-long, perfectly straight line of massive rectangular limestone blocks. Some of these stones are up to 13 feet long. They are arranged with such apparent precision that they look like a man-made road, or maybe the foundation of a massive ancient wall. It was immediately dubbed the Bimini Road, and for many, it was the first tangible proof of a lost civilization in the Atlantic, the first real clue to Atlantis. The discovery ignited a firestorm of speculation, most famously championed by the psychic Edgar Cayce. Decades earlier, Cayce had predicted in a trance that remnants of Atlantis would be discovered near Bimini in 1968 or 1969. The timing was, honestly, uncanny. Cayce's followers flocked to the site, claiming the Bimini Road was just the tip of a sunken Atlantean city. They pointed to the precise right angles of the blocks and the seemingly intentional layout as evidence that this could not be a natural formation. The next theory is perhaps the most radical of all. It proposes that Atlantis was not in the Mediterranean or the Atlantic, but at the very bottom of the world. The lost city is now buried under miles of ice on Antarctica. This may sound like science fiction, but it's rooted in a controversial artifact, the Piri race map, drawn in 1513 by a Turkish admiral. The map shows the coast of Europe, Africa, South America, but along its southern edge is a landmass that resembles an ice-free Antarctic coastline. The problem? Antarctica wasn't officially discovered until 1820, over 300 years later. Even more astonishing, the coastline appears without its ice cap. The map shows bays, rivers, now buried under a thick sheet of ice. Proponents like Graham Hancock say the map was copied from much older sources, created by an advanced, unknown seafaring civilization that charted the globe during the last ice age, when parts of Antarctica were ice-free. A civilization, they suggest, like Atlantis. This ties to the idea of Earth crust displacement. Amidst all the globe-trotting theories and underwater searches, we have to confront one very real possibility. What if Atlantis never existed at all? What if it was simply a brilliant invention, a philosophical tool crafted by Plato to make a point? Many academics and historians believe this is the most likely answer. They argue that Atlantis was an allegorical tale, a thought experiment designed to illustrate Plato's ideas about the ideal state justice, the dangers of imperial ambition, moral decay. In this view, the search for a physical Atlantis is a wild goose chase, a fundamental misreading of the author's original intent. Plato introduces Atlantis in the context of a political dialogue. He uses the story of a war between a virtuous Athens, humble Athens, ancient Athens, and a powerful Atlantis, an arrogant Atlantis, a wealthy Atlantis, to explore themes of governance and ethics. The perfect Athens represents Plato's ideal society, as outlined in the Republic. Atlantis, with its material wealth, technological might, eventual corruption. So where does that leave us? Standing at the edge of the ocean, staring into the depths, caught between myth and history. We have journeyed from the volcanic ruins of the Aegean to the mysterious stone roads of the Caribbean, and even to the frozen wastes of the South Pole. Each theory presents a compelling case, a tantalizing breadcrumb on a trail that has been cold for millennia. But for every clue, there is a counter-argument. For every piece of evidence, a skeptical explanation. The timelines don't match, the geology doesn't quite work. The sole literary source is a philosopher known for allegory, perhaps, but the human spirit is wired for exploration. We push the boundaries of the known world, believing there's always something more over the horizon. The truth is, we still don't know. The final chapter hasn't been written. With every new shipwreck discovered, with every advance in ocean mapping technology, we step closer to exploring the unknown. Over 80% of our oceans remain unmapped. The answers are still out there, beneath the waves of time.